What's good, everyone? It's Romero 17, and today we're going to be covering stamina management in UFC 4. Now, I had covered this on UFC 3, but it's good to get a refresher on how stamina works. So, I'm just going to go over some of the basic concepts when it comes to strike selection in this game. So, for the most part, most people aren't aware that there is a stamina pool in this game when it comes to certain strikes. But before I even cover that, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret that most people don't know about. So when it comes to lead hand strikes, like any strike that comes from the lead side, it drains less stamina than strikes that come from the power side, right? So if I'm throwing jabs, I'm throwing lead leg kicks, I'm throwing lead hooks, even a lead head kick, it drains less stamina than if I were to throw strikes from the power side, like a cross or rear hook or a body kick or a rear leg kick or a rear head kick. So keep that in mind from your for your strike selection. The stamina pool for different strikes, it's a much lower flat rate for jabs and straights and all those strikes. So for those two punches, like jabs and straights, they have the high stamina floor, and it doesn't necessarily drain your long-term or short-term stamina that much. Then you follow it up with uppercuts and hooks. They have a lower stamina floor than straights, but it won't really fully drain your stamina, just only slightly more than jabs and crosses, since they're a little bit more powerful strikes. So other strikes like kicks, body teeps, head kicks, overhand, spinning stuff, they drain your stamina a lot more. So if you throw them a little bit too much, you're going to drain your stamina a lot more. So you always want to land your strikes. You never want to throw your strikes at low short-term stamina. Right? Like you see here, the jabs and straights, they don't drain too much from the long term. But if you start to whiff really big strikes like overhands and head kicks, it's really taxing and it can lead you to getting knocked out. So now that we've covered over the basics, we're going to now go over landing strikes versus whiffed strikes. And when it comes to landing, whether you land on the block or you land flush, it's going to drain less stamina than if you were not hitting anything at all. And it's going to drain a lot of stamina, not only if you whiff, but if your opponent forces you to whiff with head movement, and we'll cover that a little bit later. So also, the move level of a move, the higher the move level, it actually drains a little bit less stamina. A lot of people think that it drains more, but that is not the case. So keep that in mind. So as you can see right here, whether I land on Ngannou's block or his head, I use a little bit of stamina, right? Just to show you right here. Watch the stamina drain. Not much, and a jab is a very safe strike. I can do this with any other strike where there's going to be hooks and uppercuts, just to show an example. But if I step out of range, and I'm going to show you the whiff, you're going to notice there's an extra drain, right? Watch this. See that? It's a slightly extra drain. And the more powerful the strike, whether you whiff an uppercut or a hook, it's going to drain more stamina. Notice, I'm landing with that combination. Look what happens when I whiff and I miss. There's an extra drain on the short term and the long term. So if you don't want to miss and you're out of range and you want to get in close to an opponent, you can use R2 to feint and cancel your strike. This won't tax you any long term, only short term, depending on the strike. And feints will stop you from getting hit with the whiff tax. So by feinting strikes and feinting your way into the pocket, it's going to help you in the long term. Head movement against strikes also drains your opponent's stamina. So if you do this correctly, you're going to manage your stamina a lot more. And it can also lead to extremely hard counters, which you can see in my Counter Striking Volume 2 video. And if you hit somebody's body as their short-term stamina is low, this is one of the surefire ways to secure a stamina advantage lead. So if you hit their body, right there, this does not only extra body damage, but does also extra stamina damage as well. One more time. Boom. Nice chunk of long-term stamina gets taken out there. So yeah, we've gone over how to manage your stamina correctly. Here's a few little tips that you can add into your game as you're enjoying this. Like, share, comment on the video on what you like the most. And as always, I hope everybody stays safe. Romero 17, I'm out of here.